Hello again, this is John, and today I want to talk about after 52 years, which is one Mayan cycle, of living on the North American continent, Turtle Island, and having absorbed many of the opinions from all the people I got asked opinions from on a variety of issues. Uh, one formulates some possible solutions to the problems that arise between people. Robert Ardrey, I think his name was, wrote a very good book some years ago, and it was called Territorial Prerogative. And when you break the issue of land holding, land using, land worshipping, land fighting for and dying for, one obviously recognizes that where you have your feet on Mother Earth and where you feel secure on Mother Earth is a vital part of the human experience. And so we're all very concerned about where we can actually stand. Well, now, I suppose if one looks at history, it is a history, and especially in the last several thousand years, of Kali Yuga, and there's various arguments about how long a yuga is. But if we place it historically to our sort of archaeological evidence and all the various games that can be played around what might be called dating, then if we say 5,000 years ago, 7,000 years ago, okay, 100,000 years ago, well, that's a little far, but maybe not, So we're on a planet, and it obviously is a planet as old as time itself, perhaps, and certainly is perhaps the last uh, cinder around a finally collapsing sun, which has been sustained in a form of exchange by our local sun, and and that would explain the collapsing of the tectonics, which has actually come about since Velikovsky came up with those extraordinary ideas, which were nonetheless evident to people who had their boots on the ground and were doing the actual research. And anyway, once it came into our conscious awareness and people began to pick up on it, and they began to pick up on it with fear, anxiety, removing them from an absolute faith in the divine, knowing that what made them loves them, and all they have to do is extend that love that they are receiving, uh, and express it out there to as many other people, and take on the role of bodhisattva. Take that on and say, not out of arrogance, but just say the world needs people who can speak clearly. And if you feel like you're one of those people, do it. You know, it's really not hard to do. It's just a matter of getting yourself a camera, setting it up, thinking about what you think you know, and sharing it with as many people as you think might be able to use the information. Now, the last information I brought up that I blew the whistle on in 72 was also an issue. That was the money issue. And of course, the other issue, once I realized that I was going to be a father and therefore I was going to need a home, and therefore, uh, what would be the logical thing to do? Well, be probably to probably buy a home. But I'd been very heavily programmed against that by my grandfather, who told me in no uncertain terms that he thought it was an appalling disgrace to the British people. And remember, he came out of the Victorian period when there were such things as honor and 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 sincerity and probity and integrity, and those were the days when at least in the technical middle classes, there was a high degree of expertise. And of course, a lot of that grew out of the industrial precision that was required for machining and the mastery of various crafts, which were genetically passed really as much as anything else from one generation to another. So some, children wake up fully talented, and it's just then simply a matter of being able to discover how they should be aided and abetted, um, to fulfill themselves in those particular skills where they are gifted, unquestionably. Being on the land, there's a responsibility to um, nurture the land, to take care of the land, not to rape and plunder the land, as has happened and has been unstoppable. And when I look at the Fraser River today, when I go over, I see all the way up the river like forests laying on the water, ready to be chopped up. And I know I know how few there are of those trees. And I know this rape has been going on for all the years that I've been here. And it must stop. If the genetics are going to survive, it must stop. Now, all these things have to do with land. Whose land is it? Well, it's actually belongs to our mother, this earth. It is her body. We're like little lice running around doing not only destructive things and foolish and idiotic things when we could be gardening, when we could be singing, we could be dancing, we could be laughing, we could be creating things, we can be sharing our intelligences, we won't be keeping secrets because we can't lie anymore. We return to a state of grace, they call it in many of the religions. And grace simply means that you have a relationship with your sense of creation. It doesn't have to be a personality of Godhead. It is a personality of Godhead. It is many personalities of Godhead. If we see that the focus there is a focus to all knowing, there is no focus to all knowing. All knowing is everywhere at all times and in all things, and it's a little bit of us in all of us. And when we look for it within ourselves, we find it. And we look for it in other people, we find it. And we know it's everywhere and it's in all times. And it's conscious awareness. And we're not always fully conscious and we're not always fully aware. And we dip in and out like that. But I know this incredible lady who I've known for many years. She's an angel and very practiced nurse. And I was saying, how I was having these, um, minor miracles in my life, and how exciting it was. And and she looked at me as she does in this very angel sort of timeless way. And she says, "But John, that's the way it is for me all the time." And I went, "Yes, if you realize you can't, nobody gets out of this alive. So we might as well say, well, either we're eternal or we're not. And if we are eternal, then maybe there is something in this word which only came into the vocabulary of North America, less than 40 years ago, maybe a little longer, but no, a little longer, maybe 50. But anyway, it was here for the Vedanta, the idea of karma. Now, karma and land are very, very closely associated because if you are a little flea and you don't give a, what can I say, monkey's chunky, whatever that might be, you don't care. It's of no consequence to you. It doesn't register to you that maybe what you're doing is really bad, really bad, really, really bad. And you know that. Now, how can you do that? Well, largely when it's associated with land is because when you own land, you become kind of the landlord, and if I care to cut the tree down, I'll cut the freaking tree down. If somebody argues with me, I got to put up wood for next year, so my family, it like it becomes very, it's just me, take up the sword. It goes from, being a practice of healthy living on the land in a simple way, minimalizing, exactly. In other words, minimalizing not your necessities. There's a difference between wants and needs. Where wants exceed needs, we have greeds, and it's very easy to slip from, sometimes the thing you love best, you become so attached to that it becomes the entire focus of your life, and you're missing all the other stuff. You know, I won't go down the trail of the things that can be possess you because you so desire to possess them. But it pretty much comes the same thing, and it's precisely that thing that we're dealing with when the a commodity. What one can, I guess I'm always trying to find the right metaphor for what money is. The oil between the, but a commodity which allows um, exchange to happen in a world where there's no trust only. Because in a world where we're all in this together, we're all in the same soup, we're all equal and different, where then where's the need? If the exchange is a healthy exchange, we both like the exchange, then I don't see where money comes in at all. But I've said these things before and I'm getting boring, so I think I'm going to stop. Thank you very much.